Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashokatara Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashokatara Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Maharaj Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prince Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shiva Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kundara Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Ki Navadvait Mayapur Dham Ki Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Shri Prihat Mardanga Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Itai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namaste Narasingaya. Pralada Lada Dani. Hiranyakashe Purvakshaha. Shiratanka Nakanaye. Ito Nishinga Parato Nishinga. Yato Yato Yami Tato Nishinga. Ahe Nishinga Niraye Nishinga. Narshinamadim Sharanam Prabhave. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakama Shinga. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanvinga. Kesavatrita Narahare Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tavagara Kamaravare Kalita Yeshavadita Narahare Rupa Jaya Keshavadita Narahare Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Hare Krishna, dear devotees. All those of you joining us on Zoom and the Philadelphia YouTube channel, welcome to our Sunday afternoon program here at ISKCON of Philadelphia. Today is ISKCON. I hope everybody's it's a beautiful day outside. I'm hoping everybody's having a wonderful Krishna conscious day and that you can be with us throughout the evening. We're about to hear from Mother Golokananda Priya on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I'd like to say a few words of introduction about her. Mother Golokananda Priya, she has been serving in ISKCON since the late 70s. She's lived with her and her family in various temples, served there to various capacities. Most recently, she served in the Hillsborough Temple as temple president. And now a couple years ago, she relocated to Philadelphia, and she's been serving here as a pujari for Shri Shri Radhashard Bihari. And she's also a regular in our Srimad Bhagavatam classes as a speaker. So tonight we're going to hear from her on our continuation of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna poses a question to Krishna, which is very relevant to our advancement in spiritual life, being able to identify the spiritual qualities that are there within a transcendentalist. But before we do that, I would like to give us a quick tour of our deities, a quick darshan of our deities, starting with His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. It's a close-up of Shri Shri Gaura-Nitai ki. This is an Ekadasi dress for the deities. It's red and silver. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. And the most beautiful lordships, Shri Shri Radha Sharad Bihari ki. So I'm going to hand it over in just a second to Mother Golokananda Priya. She's here with us actually tonight in the temple room. So it's going to take, we're going to just hang in there for a second. I'm going to get off of this and we're going to transition to a different device. In a second.
Hare Krishna. Let's start.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, this is wrong. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Happy Ekadasi to everyone. Welcome to this Bhagavad Gita class. So today we're going to read from Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, text 54. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I am going to read the Sanskrit 3 times, then I'll ask devotees to repeat. Arjuna Vacha Stita Pranashya Kabhasa Samadhistasya Keshava Stitadi Kim Prabhaseta Kim Asita Vrajeta Kim Stita Pranashya Kabhasa Samadhistasya Keshava Stitadi Kim Prabhaseta Asita Vrajeta Kim Arjuna Vacha Stita Pranasya Bhasha Samadhi Stana Tasya Keshava Stitadi Kim Prabhasheta Kim Asita Vrajeta Kim. Any devotee want to read?
Gulukananda, we can't hear you. Arjuna Vacha Sita Pragyasya Kabhasa Samadhisthasya Keshava Sita Dhi Kim Prabhaseta Kim Asita Vrajeta Kim.
Anybody on the online want to read?
I can't hear.
Hare Krishna?
Do you have mic?
Anybody online want to read? The verse?
I thought I just. Haribol Golokananda, can you hear me?
If you want to read, you have to unmute yourself.
Oh, how come?
Nobody want to read? Okay. Sudevi,
Yes, can you hear me?
you want to read?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arjuna
So nobody's
Uvacha
reading. Want to
Ita
read it? I'm going
Prajasya
to go
Kashbhasa.
word to word translation. Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said, Stita Pranasya, a one who is situated in fixed Krishna consciousness. Kavat, Bhasa language. Samadhistasya, one who is situated in trance. Keshava, O Krishna. Stita, the one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness. Kim, what? Prabhasheta speaks. Kim, how? Asita, does. Remain still. Vrajeta, walk. Vrajeta walks. Kim, how? Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the symptom of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? What is the language? How does he sit? How does he walk? Okay, going to, if you all want to repeat the translation together. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the symptom of one whose consciousness
Oh Krishna, what is the symptom of one whose
is thus
consciousness
merged in transcendence?
is just merged in transcendence?
How does he speak?
How does he speak?
What is his language?
What is his
How
language?
does he sit?
How does he sit?
How does he walk?
And how does he walk?
Purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
As there are symptoms of each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly, one who is Krishna conscious has his particular nature, talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a diseased man has a symptom by which he is known as a disease, as a learned man has a symptom, so has a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna a specific symptom in various dealings. One can know his specific symptom from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speak. For speech is the most important quality of a man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he doesn't speak. And certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. And as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only for Krishna and the matters relating to him, other symptoms then automatically follow as stated below. Om Jnanatimirandesha Jnananjana Shalaka Chakshurimitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Shivara Krishna Pisabda Smriti Krishna Goswami Namini. Om Shivara Krishna Pisai Smriti Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Kuchayani Visesa Shunyavani Pascha Desatarini. So this is a verse. Arjuna is inquiring from Krishna about what the symptom of a man in transcendence. What does it mean by man in transcendence? I mean somebody who is Krishna conscious, fully Krishna consciousness. And what is the quality of a fully Krishna consciousness? He has all God's transcendental qualities. You know, whatever he does, whatever action he does, he does it for the satisfaction, for the pleasure of Krishna, just to please Krishna. So Krishna Prabhupada said, how a person speak. So Prabhupada said, a self-realized soul, a person who is a transcendentalist is a self-realized soul. First of all, he won't understand who is he and what is his position. He knows that He is a part and parcel of Krishna. Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That he is an eternal spirit soul and is part and parcel of Krishna. And what he's supposed to do, how does he speak? Whatever he speak, he speak like everybody speak of lot of, everybody has the urge to speak. People speak a lot, they write so many books, volumes of books. They have all kind of talk shows. They have all kind, whenever, when people gather together, even in spiritual place, people has a tendency just, they want to talk. They want to talk about their family, about the life problem, about different situation they are in. They always want to talk. But a devotee of Krishna, he doesn't waste his time just talking about all kind of mundane thing. He always, when he speak from the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. When he want to speak, he always speak about the pastime of Krishna. And he always talking about how we can spread Krishna consciousness, how we can engage other soul in Krishna consciousness. So that is a devotee, that a transcendentalist does. Like he's a sadhu, he doesn't speak of all nonsense. But he also, even he has so many responsibilities, still he uses all his senses in the service of the Lord. It is said, Rishikesha, Rishikena, Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti. You use all your senses in the service of Krishna. There's a great king, Ambarish Maharaj. He was a king and he has so much responsibility, but he was a great devotee of Krishna. What he does, he used his feet just to walk to the temple. And he used the sense of smell to smell the flowers, the fragrant flowers offered to Krishna. He used his sight just to see the beautiful form of Krishna. He used his hand to clean the temple and to do service for Krishna. And he used, all his senses in the service of Krishna. So similarly, a devotee, a pure devotee, they always engage all the senses in the service of Krishna. And also Prabhupada said, when one realizes that you are not this body, you are just spirit soul, he becomes jolly. Why he becomes jolly? Because Krishna is all blissful. Krishna is called Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Whenever he is in contact with Krishna, he's always in contact with Krishna. He's always chanting the glories of Krishna. He's always glorifying Krishna. So whenever he's doing all these activities, he's always engaging his senses, is always happy, because whenever, just like you say, like a Prabhupada always mentioned, like a iron rod, when you touch fire, when you put it in fire, it becomes fire. Similarly, when we become Krishna consciousness, always thinking of Krishna, always speaking about Krishna, and whatever we do for Krishna, we become Krishna, become Krishna consciousness, and our mind is always fully absorbed in Krishna. And and have there's a lot of Acharya Prabhupada, in order to come to the state of, become like a transcendentalist, in transcendent, there is a stage you have to go. There's a gradual process. The process is sadhana bhakti. First, you have to have faith in the Ado, Sadhu, I don't remember the verse, but I wrote over here. I say, Ado, Sadhu, yeah. I say, Ado, Shraddha, first you have the faith, then Tato, Sadhu, then you associate with devotee, Sadhu Sangha, you associate with devotee, then you start chanting Hare Krishna, Bhajana Kriya, then also Ananta Nivriti. You follow the path, and then you get a taste, then in the end you get ruchi, you get a taste just for chanting and hearing about Krishna. So this is a process. So in Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada introduced it, how we can be fully like 24 age, in Krishna. We can use all our senses in Krishna consciousness. As soon as devotees wake up, those who do not stay in the temple, when in your home, but maybe it's many devotees are practicing this in their home, but here in temple, usually the first thing we wake up, you take a shower, and you go directly and you go for Mangalarti. And you start your day, with glorifying Krishna. First, you glorifying your guru. Every day, devotee, we sing this very nice song by Vishwanath Chakravarti. Samsara Dava Nalali Loka. We sing the eighth verse of this song. We sing that song. Then we sing Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Then we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then we started our life just purifying our consciousness, because when you wake up, like this morning, this Prabhu was giving is very important that in order to practice devotional life, even in other religion, people who practice devotional life, they always wake up early because it considers the early morning is in the mode of goodness, and the other mode of passion and ignorance are not prevalent at that time, then it's very easy to practice devotional service. So when you wake up by chanting, and after that we chant our mala 16 round. Even we don't chant 16 round, we chant japa. Then we do Tulsi Puja, worship Tulsi. Then devotees, there's so many devotees who will engage in deity worship. They will dress the deities. And that means they're using all the senses in early morning in the service of Krishna, and the devotee cooking for Krishna, if devotee cleaning for Krishna, and devotee speaking about Krishna, about in Srimad Bhagavatam, like Prabhupada introduced the Srimad Bhagavatam every day in all ISKCON temple. Nowadays, because of pandemic, maybe we have the social media, like you have the Zoom, everybody can hear unlimited about Krishna. So we should always hear and chant. And a devotee doesn't waste his time in engaging in things that is not related to Krishna, And we can, it's a gradual process. If we just put all these, follow the footstep of the Acharya, have they become advanced in Krishna consciousness, anybody can become Krishna conscious, can become a transcendentalist. We just have to have faith, and we have to practice the process. And also, our heart need to be purified. And how we purify our heart? Our heart can be purified by Srivatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Ride Antasya Bhadrani. Srivatam Swakata, we always have to hear about. When you speak, we have to speak, use our mind, our speech, all our sense of hearing, hear about Krishna, because Krishna is so pure. When we hear about Krishna, who is within our heart, as the super soul, as Paramatma, it cleans our heart of all the unwanted sin, all the sinful activities, and all the dirty thing in our mind. And like that, we can, then Krishna is our best friend, says Surit. He become our best friend in our heart, and he will give us the intelligence how we can worship him. Because why we have to worship Krishna? Because Krishna is everything. If we don't worship Krishna, then you have to worship the illusion, Maya, the material world. And that doesn't give you happiness. The only way you can get happiness, you can experience transcendental bliss and be always happy, eternally happy, just by serving Krishna. And there's so many great Vaishnava in our line over the Gaudiya sampradaya. You know, like Srila Prabhupada, we can see even he was a householder, but he never forget Krishna. He was always, you know, he was always remembering Krishna from very far childhood. He was worshiping Krishna. He is Radha Krishna deities. He was doing Ratha Yatra. And even he was a householder, he was goes and listen to devotees, to sadhus. And after some time, you know, Prabhupada gave up the household life and just went to Vrindavan and he fully dedicated his whole life, you know, just to write so many books. That's why so many volumes of books. But Prabhupada is a great transcendentalist, we can say. He's a great person. He's always in trance, always thinking of Krishna. And Prabhupada said we have to always think of Krishna 24 hours. I know it is impossible, you know, not practical for most of them. But somehow or other, we have to, you know, we have to mold our life. We have to adjust our life in such a way that that somehow or other, if we can remember Krishna. Suppose at home, you know, when we wake up, most of the people, Karmi, I know when I was growing up, when people wake up, the people who are not devotees, they'll wake up and they'll put the radio on, you know. That time when I was young, it was radio, there was no other. They put the radio, the first thing, actually the radio, the broadcasting people, they were very smart. The first thing they would put Bhakti Geet, couple Bhakti Geet, mean devotional song. Then after there was all kind of songs, you know, about, you know, like Bollywood songs, you know, Bollywood song, or if you listen to the Western one, you got all kind of song about mundane thing. And people like to hear, you know, they like to hear all kind of thing, but and people want to see. That's why, you know, they want to see all the time. But the materialistic, they like to go, you know, to cinema, to the movies. They want to watch all kind of mundane movies, you know, just to satisfy uh, the the senses, you know, because they want to see. But the devotee, they don't want to. You know, the devotees, they just want to see the beautiful form of Krishna. A devotee like to go to the temple. Why the devotees want to go to the temple? He doesn't go, you know, to the movies and say, go to the temple, because they want to go and see the devotees, other devotees. They want to associate with other devotees. They want to go and see the beautiful form of Krishna. And those who are attracted to the deities, they will come and see, oh, what kind of garland. Like in our group, we can see, like everybody, you know, every day when they have darshan of Krishna, they will just come and beautiful garland. Radharani looks so beautiful. Krishna looks so beautiful, beautiful turban. And that's the way the devotees act, you know. And what the mundane people, what they will talk, okay, my child, about my child, you know, listen to me, she has a beautiful dress, oh, our beautiful sari, our beautiful jewelry. And the Indian people are very fond of that. They like to show up, you know, they like to show, you know, how many beautiful sari, what the new trend they have, what the new fashion they have. But the devotee, when they see beautiful, beautiful jewelry, they think about, okay, how can I buy this jewelry and decorate Krishna? When they see beautiful, fragrant flowers, all beautiful flowers, they don't think, okay, I will enjoy the flowers. They think, okay, I can use these flowers in the service of Krishna. I can just pick a beautiful flower. I can make beautiful garland like my mother, Nilagiri Prabhu, and what's her name? Marlene is a make garland. I'm sure when they see beautiful flowers, they think, you know, how can I make beautiful flower garland from Krishna? How can I decorate Krishna nicely? I know, if people is not Krishna conscious, what they will do is they will buy these flowers, they will just, you know, go and offer it to some people as a love, you know. But after sometimes these people will not love them eternally. Person will just leave them, you know. But when we offer the same love to Krishna, Krishna will love us eternally and we will be eternally happy. So that's the difference between the devotee and Krishna. And what time should we end? 5:30? Okay. And I would like to, Prabhupada say people and like to speak. What to speak? You talk a lot about speaking here. It's like people who are not devotee, they're just like a toad. What a toad like to do, like a frog, they like to croak. Yeah. In the Carolina pond there we have, there was so many crows. They will make so much noise, because people like it. The people who doesn't like to talk about Krishnas are just like frogs. They're comparing to frog croaking, and they just like to gossip. They talk about other people, what he's wearing, like we have so many channel on the TV, so many every day we have people. There's so many gossip channel because people want to speak because they have tendencies, they want to speak. But the devotees, they already have controls thing. They don't speak useless thing. They don't speak useless. People are very, are very eager to go to places, to go so many times, use all the energy and everything. But the devotee, they use all the energy to go to see beautiful temple. They go to places of pilgrimage. They go to visit different temples. That's what the devotees do. And also people like to sing song. Nowadays we have so many albums. When you go, there's unlimited album, all kind of music and everything with the Krishna. But the devotees of Krishna, and one who is a pure devotee, he's always chant about Krishna. And there is a one Swami, he's a very dear, I think he's a god brother of Srila Prabhupada. His name was Akinchana Prabhu. And he said that he never stopped chanting Hare Krishna. He was always just chanting, and his mouth is always moving. This is a symptom of a pure devotee. He's always satatam kirtayanto mam. He's always chanting about Krishna, and the another symptom of a devotee is a machita madgata prana Vodayanti parasparam sadavam bhajanti mam tusyanti cha ramanti cha. You know, and a pure devotee is always like the sword of my pure devotee is always dwelling in me, and they worship me, and they always discussing and they take great pride in discussing about my pastime, my activities, in such a way that they become always happy. So that's what Srila Prabhupada said, when one becomes consciousness is always happy. Why? Because they're always discussing Krishna Katha. We can say, okay, even we discussing Krishna Katha, sometimes we don't feel happy. Why? Why we don't feel happy? That means we have not come to the elevated stage. We are not become a pure devotee yet. We still have material desires. Our heart is still not cleansed. That's why we cannot always be happy when we're discussing about Krishna. Only when our heart is completely cleansed. So what's the process of cleansing our heart so that we can always speak about Krishna, and whatever we do, we'll do for Krishna. We can start with chanting the holy name of the Lord. In the in Bhagavatam it is said, Kalo dose nide rajan asti eko mahan gun Krishna yadeva Krishna mukta sangha param braja. In this age of Kali is an ocean of fog. Kalo dose nide rajan asti eko mahan gun. There's one good quality. What is what good quality? Is just chanting the holy name of the Lord. Like that you can get liberated. So we had to start practicing that. If we want to become a good devotee of Krishna, we want to become closer to Krishna, we have to start with our tongue. Our tongue Our tongue is meant, we want to taste good prasadam, we want to speak. We use our tongue for so many activities. So if you want to become purified, you have to use a tongue also. Prabhupada say you just have to you know, you just have to chant the holy name of the Lord. What the holy name of the Lord, because that's the only way we can get purified. This material world is full. We always surrounded by the mode of nature, you know, by passion and ignorance. How to get free from this matter and come to the elevated platform of goodness. Only when we come to the elevated platform of goodness, we can chant the holy name of Krishna. So that why we were talking before, we practice the process of Shradhana Bhakti. Shradhana Bhakti, like, you know, hearing and chanting about the glory of the Lord, serving the Lord. By performing all these activities, we can gradually, you know, cleanse our heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Baba Mahadavakni Nirvapanam, Shreya Chandika Vitaram Vidyavaru Jivanam. Anandam Buddhivardhanam Patipadam Punamrita Sadhanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came and he has given us freely this Mahamantra. He wants us just to adopt this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then we can cleanse our heart of all the dirty thing. Then gradually we can understand Krishna. And because also the second verse of Sisatakam, say Namna Makari Bahudani Jasharva Sakti. He said, in the name of the holy name, they are invested all the transcendental potency. Everything is there in the holy name. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can cleanse our heart. Then gradually we can elevate our consciousness, the mode of, of goodness. Then we can try to understand Krishna. Then gradually we can start, you know, become a transcendentalist, like become trance. Because nowadays there's so many other religion which teach about transcendental meditation. But what do they teach? They teach you, okay, you just sit still, you know, you just sit still and just focus your mind on one light. Then after some time you merge into the light. But what Krishna is talking, he's not talking about that, just merging into the light. You know, even the light is partial representation of Krishna, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti, this three stage of realizing Krishna. First is the Brahmeti, you know, the Brahman, like the impersonalists, they meditate on that Brahman. And Paramatmeti is just by the yogis. The yogis, they will sit for so long and they will try to meditate on the Lord within the heart. But the devotee, they meditate on the transcendental form of the Lord. And what? Because Krishna, as they understand that Krishna is Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachit Ananda Vigra, Anadir Adir Govinda. Krishna is a cause of all causes. You know, is a primeval Lord. He's full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. You know, that's why the devotees of Krishna, they always meditate on the beautiful form, O Lord, of the Lord. So by chanting Hare Krishna, that we can engage our mind. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, Man mana bhava mad bhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru. Always engage your mind. Prabhupada said, how we engage, and when you're always thinking of, how can we always think of Krishna, we should always chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Because I know it's very difficult in this age, you know, when you go to work, you cannot chant, you know, suppose you're in your office, you know, you cannot chant Hare Krishna, but mentally, you should, whenever you have some opportunity, you have a chance, you have time, you should try to remember Krishna. Try to remember Krishna. And whatever you see, you know, like Krishna say, I'm the taste of water. When you drink water, you say, okay, Krishna is a taste of water. When you see the sun, says this is the eyes of Krishna. When she say beautiful thing, I say this come from Krishna. In this way, we can always remember Krishna and use our mind in thinking about Krishna. And if we have the opportunity, man mana bhava mad bhakto, become my devotee. Krishna wants us to become his devotees. And we have to offer obeisances. Madhyaji namaskuru, offer obeisances to me. In this way, you can come to me. That's the only way you can understand Krishna, and you become entranced by always engaging all your senses in Krishna service. So, and anybody has anything to say? Okay.
First, thank you for speaking today on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Let's see if anybody has anything there, but I'll start off after.
Anybody like to add something? Want to discuss anything about this verse?
If you don't have anything, I'll say something.
Hare Krishna, is there nobody? Yes.
So Srila Prabhupada, he mentions in this purport that a fool remains undetected until he opens his mouth. And he's emphasizing that. So I don't know if he said that exactly in these words, to the extent that speech is the most important factor. And I know that a lot of times people like to talk. A lot of times people just like to tell you what they think or ask you their opinion. We see it sometimes at the temple, somebody comes and they start saying, but Krishna is this person, Krishna means that, Krishna means Krishna. Let me tell you about Krishna. Krishna, he's happy if you do your karma nicely. And they'll go in there and give you their philosophy. And everybody wants to give you their philosophy, and everybody wants to talk. The transcendentalist, so from here, from what I gather is that this is like foolish talking. People who want to talk, but they don't have anything really to give. They just talk because most of speculating. So two questions is, one is, when we're approached like that by people that just want to talk, how should we engage in the conversation? And two, what is the transcendentalist? Because the transcendentalist also talks in the same way, but they're not fools. They're actually giving knowledge and inspiration. So the difference between, I guess, the two. Maybe you can just speak.
Yeah, like you can see, is that always, when they talk, they always try to talk about themselves, like what my experience, most of the people, if they start a conversation, they always try themselves, also try just to talk about some big people, some big movie stars, or about some games, about all kind of mundane things, like people have tendency to talk about this thing. So we can see that because people they don't know, what to talk, because people has to talk, we cannot say we stop talking. But here what Prabhupada is saying, when we become a devotee, we become a transcendentalist, we dovetail all this material, activities in the service of Krishna. Whatever we do, we don't talk. But, people can talk for hours, especially young people. I can see, they're on chat. Sometimes they spend like half the night they will talk. They will talk and talk. I don't know what to talk about. They will talk about themselves, about the movie star, about the game, about the food they eat, about that person. I'm gossiping about other people, and that all kind of talks that usually people talk. But But the difference is that people in Krishna consciousness, they don't like to waste their time, actually. They just, for them, because Srimad Bhagavatam is full of narration, of, of the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Lord devotees. So they engage themselves in discussing about these different devotees, about different pastime of Krishna. Like now we're reading, the 10 canto of Srimad Bhagavatam every morning. We're discussing every day about different activities of Krishna. So that how the transcendentalists they spend time, compared to people who is not Krishna consciousness. They're not interested in hearing about Krishna. Even you become a devotee, there's three kind of devotee. If you're Kanishta devotee, you're not interested of hearing about Krishna. You're just interested, okay, how can I do this service? Okay, they'll start chanting a little bit, they'll start doing some service. How can I be the center of attention? How can people recognize what I'm doing? They're not interested like in always hearing Krishna, but if you can see a devotee, advanced devotee, no matter what, he always wants to hear about Krishna. It's not about himself. If he's not the center, even he will always like to hear about Krishna. So that's why in our group, I don't want to criticize, but you can see, it's very, very, very rare to get people, we are only a small group who regularly want to hear about Srimad Bhagavatam, even if it is open to everyone, people, they think they don't have time because they're so involved in so many mundane things. They think they cannot take like half an hour to hear about Krishna. Maybe some does it, maybe they don't want to hear about all the devotees. The community is good to be together with the community. There's so many other devotees, they will hear from whoever they prefer to hear from, different other gurus, different swamis, different thing, whatever pleases them, whatever they feel enlivened, So, so I'm just thinking that, and I think staying in a community like in Philadelphia, it's nice if we get a big group of devotees always trying to hear and chant about Krishna. Because that's what Krishna says, for those who always hear and chant about Krishna, Chishyanti Dharamanti cha, they feel happiness. They derive great pleasure in that. So even initially we cannot that, but with some faith, like because Acharya said, because Srila Prabhupada says that, because Krishna himself said that, if we just have some faith, and chanting and associate with the devotee, eventually we'll come to the stage where we will always try to discussing about Krishna, and we would give up this tendency of speaking about ourselves, about other people, about gossiping, about finding fault in other people, about talking about some mundane things that will not really help the soul. Will just help the senses, temporarily. It will not help the soul. Like it will not give them eternal happiness, eternal bliss. Because the nature of the soul is just to be connected with Krishna. Mataji. And Hare Krishna. Any Prabhu? I think it's 5:30. We can end.
One last thing, I remember in this connection, Srila Prabhupada, he talks about how the frog.
Croaking, yeah.
Yeah. It actually is always talking. Like the frog is always,
Yeah, I have personal experience. I told you in the pond, we have a pond there. And like, oh my God, there were so many things. And when you stand there, you can hear them. Like the noise is sometimes unbearable because there were so many frogs. Croak, croak, croak. The people like that croak. You can see even we go in. Sometimes we go in some satsang or something. In people's houses. They invite all the friends and everybody. Instead of hearing about Krishna Katha from the devotee, you want to about Srimad Bhagavad Gita and everything, is they will go and make small groups and start talking about different things, like people, in general, it's very rare to become a transcendent. Manushanam Sahasrisu.
Nana, ये जा रहा हूँ हाँ I'll be back.
Sudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Srulava. Only a Mahatma, like this to get this devotee, of the many birth, only them want to know Krishna. Out of this few, only few, they understand Krishna. So we are among the few, we are trying to learn about Krishna. So, and Sudolabha is very rare. Some Mahatma Sudolabha. So a Mahatma, he's not interested in any, even you can see them like ordinary person. They have so many responsibilities. King Ambarish Maharaj, he has a lot of responsibilities. He was a king. He can say, oh, I have a king, I have to manage my kingdom. I don't have time to hear about Krishna. But it takes time just to hear and chant of Krishna because he's a Raja Rishi, You want to learn about the absolute truth, about who's Krishna is here, and what is the purpose of this material world, about spiritual world. You want to know. And there's so many Pataparudra, he was also the king of Puri. He also takes time. He want to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And great devotees, There's so many great sadhu like that, They already like the six Goswami of Vrindavan. What they were doing all the time, they were always, even they were responsible ministers and for the king and everything. Even they were so intelligent. They were erudite scholars, They used all the intelligence, all the knowledge, to write so many books. At the same time, they were living very simply, and they were very humble. They were always chanting the glories of Lord Krishna, Kirtana, Gana, Natana, Paru. They were always chanting the holy name of Krishna. It doesn't matter from what background you come. You can become Krishna consciousness from what kind of family you come, or what kind of from rich, poor, and in what religion you come. Everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. They can become a Mahatma, like a transcendentalist, a great devotee, just by the practice of devotional service. And the practice of devotional service, the easiest way whether is chanting of the holy name, but still is very difficult. Like Haridas Thakur, daily he would chant 300,000 times the holy name of the Lord. And he didn't come from a Brahmin family, he came from Mohammedan family. And even he had so many obstacles. He was beaten in 22 marketplace because he doesn't want to, because he didn't follow the Mohammedan king want him to. Why you're chanting the name of Krishna? They think name of Krishna is Hindu religion, and still he has so strong determination to chant about Krishna, And these are the great soul who's constantly chanting of Krishna. 300,000 who can sing? Even 16 round. How many thousand is that? 16 round. 100 and 1,000. 1,700. And that also is struggling. That one, like. Yeah, and it's a great Mahatma, like 300,000 Haridas Thakur, And by his action, he can change a person who was so inimical to him, like the prostitute. There was a king called, he says they want to, because he was a Mohammedan king. There was Ramananda Khan. He sent one prostitute just to distract Haridas Thakur from chanting the holy name of Krishna. But when he went, one time he went, the prostitute went and approached Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur said, you know what, I have a promise. I will vow that I have to chant this amount of time. I have to chant so many rounds before I can do anything else. He said, okay, you can sit. When I finish, then I'll see what I can do. Then he chanted the first day, chanted like 300,000, take like, they said it take about 22 hours just to chant that many, 300,000 times of the holy name of the Lord. So he said 22 hours, and then the prostitute was, she was so tired. Come second day, third day, she gave up, and she gave up and she asked for forgiveness. She said, sorry, I am trying to, to distract you from chanting your rabbit. I know you're just a great saint. Forgive me, but by hearing constantly from a pure devotee, like Haridas Thakur, and her heart changed and she became a great devotee. She gave up all her properties that is acquired by sinful activities and gave up everything and just go and chant. She also in front of a tulsi tree and chanted the holy name. So that is the potency, the power of a great devotee. We can change the people who so like Srila Prabhupada, change the heart of thousands of people. Because Prabhupada was a great Mahatma with great devotees, and he taught us how to serve Krishna, how to remember Krishna. And Prabhupada is always present. He's always present within ourselves. We say, oh, we don't have association of devotee. Even there's no like physical association with so many devotee. Prabhupada has so many books. We can always associate with the pure devotee. And it just depends on our desire, what we want in our life, whether we want to advance in spiritual life, whether we want to become Krishna consciousness, whether we want to advance. It depends on us. So everything is there. We just have to take it. Now it's very easy, Everybody go on social media and just you can hear unlimited pastime and about Krishna. You can speak unlimitedly about Krishna. You just have to have this desire. Everything can come, but we just have to start practicing the process of sadhana bhakti. Everything can happen. Everybody can become a transcendentalist. It's just lifetime. If you have a desire, one day you can become a transcendentalist. You can become trance. You can always just remember Krishna and speak about Krishna, walk for Krishna, and do everything for Krishna.
Lady, and I don't know her.
Everything, okay. Now it's 5:34. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You want to?
Just turn it around like this.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I want to thank Mother Golokananda Priya for speaking to us today on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Next week, our guest speaker will be Her Grace Malati Devi Dasi, senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So please tune in for that, mark that on your calendar, and we'll continue the studies of the qualities of saintly people. Speaking of which, today we had a great event that took place here at ISKCON in Philadelphia. We had an initiation ceremony. Vijay Lakshmi Mataji, she got initiated today by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, and her new name is Vindyavali Devidasi. So when you see her, please offer your congratulations and blessings as she continues to grow in her development in Krishna consciousness under the care of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. So it was our first, I think, initiation that we've experienced during the COVID period. It was a Zoom, and she wanted to do it here in the temple room in Philadelphia. And we had it here with some senior devotees were present as well in front of Srila Prabhupada. and Shishi Radheshwar Bihari, Jagannath Baladev, Subhadra, and Shishi Gauranitai. Also today is ISKCON. For those of you picking up Prasadam, you can begin to pick up around 6:15 if you've RSVP'd. The temple room will be open for darshan starting at 5:45 tonight. Artik will be from 6:45 to 7:15. This coming Thursday begins the month of Purushottama Mas. It's the holiest of all holy months, and it comes approximately once every 3 years or so. It's similar to like a leap year that we celebrate in the West, but this is actually for the whole month. It's just not a day. And it's stated that there's tremendous spiritual benefits by performing devotional activities during this month. Now, for a devotee, we're always engaged in hearing and chanting, but there's always, sometimes we can challenge ourselves to do maybe a little bit more. And for those of you who have not yet taken up seriously the practice of Krishna consciousness, in a way where you've taken either vows or made a commitment in one form or another, this is a great month to actually do a pilot, and try it out. If you ever wondered what is it like to commit to chanting a certain number of rounds, it may be 4 rounds, it may be 8, it may be 16. This would be a great month to actually begin to do this. Empowerment is there. This is Krishna's favorite month. And actually we get a double dose of it, because right after Purushottama Mas, Kartik will begin a few weeks later, which is also extremely beneficial for one's spiritual advancement. So we're about to enter into about a 2-month period where we can really intensify our bhakti. We will be having a couple classes, a couple other ways to get involved online. That'll be announced in the newsletter this upcoming week. But one thing that everybody can do, if you'd like to get involved more, every morning we have a Srimad Bhagavatam class from 7:50 to 8:30 in the morning. It's the same Zoom channel. If you're on YouTube, you don't do it on YouTube, you'll have to click over to Zoom. But the Zoom link is in all our newsletters and if you look on a WhatsApp group, I think we have, we have the link to the Zoom as well. A great group of devotees every morning. We're studying the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's childhood pastimes we're in, and they're extremely relishable and revealing. A lot of sweetness, but also a lot of strong philosophical points about Krishna's opulence and glories. So please join us as we continue a journey in our Krishna consciousness. Okay, we will end here. Thank you for joining us. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Panchakopatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha, Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha.